welcome to my channel Foxey Sunrise, and happy Leo season. Happy birthday to all of the Leos out there. Today we are talking about tapping into the wisdom of Leo and embodying our innate royalty. So I'm going to talk about Leo a little bit, break down some, have some background music on, I'm sorry. I try to use it to drown out some of the noise because it can get a little noisy around here. I think I'm gonna just put on nature sounds. Yeah, I don't know. The music can be a little distracting, and it's not always anything I like to listen to. Okay. Anyways, so I'm gonna break down a little bit about Leo, and this isn't just for anyone who's a Leo, and it's not just for Leo season. It's something you can check into if, say, you feel like you're lacking Leo energy, or if you want to look at astrology, astrological signs as archetypes, and you feel you need more of this energy, or you seem to be attracting this energy in your life, or maybe you feel really good around this time and you're wondering why. I feel like as far as like making these videos, I think it's interesting to take the approach of looking at astrology as something that can be tapped into, and looking at a birth chart as something that is more of a filter than something that you can't access. So what I mean by that is, say you're looking at your chart and you don't have a lot of Leo in your chart. Maybe that's just something that you need to understand and tap into as an archetype or a mindset, and you can then begin to embody the characteristics of those signs that are teaching us, the archetypes and the energies that are teaching us. And I think that all astrological signs have something that we can learn, and all of us are a unique combination of all of those energies. So sometimes we attract people in our life that have more of something that we have less of, and vice versa. So as far as Leo, if I can make the analogy of, I hope you don't hear any revving. They're riding four-wheelers near my house, so if that comes to the recording, that's what that is. So if I could use the analogy to describe the astrological wheel as childhood development, I would say that Leo season and the energy of Leo is whenever a child discovers their desires. It's already learned how to talk and express its emotions, and now it's figuring out its likes and dislikes, and is creating opinions, and is expressing itself, and has the freedom now to choose the clothes that they want to wear, and has kind of begun to develop their own style and way of expression. So this is how I would describe Leo energy. It is it can be very childlike, optimistic, very self-aware of what they feel and their point of view and their perspective, and also of what their tastes are. Leo can also be opulent in a way and very extravagant. So it is a fire sign. It is a fire element. The sign is a fire element, and the modality, which is the way the energy moves, is fixed. So fixed signs are going to be signs that are very consistent and persistent in their energy. That can come off as stubborn, which sometimes it can be, but the energy is always flowing. It's not fluctuating as much as the other modalities or other signs that fall under other modalities. So this is going to be very consistent energy, which also makes Leo a very good leader, and it's very comfortable in the spotlight, and has a way of being a consistent flame. If we're thinking of the analogy of fire, it's a consistent fire. It's like a fireplace that you have to intentionally blow out, or it kind of eventually dies down, but it's consistent. Imagine like a really nice hearty fire that goes on all night until eventually it kind of uses all of its reserves and it burns out. Hopefully not prematurely, because that would be more in the negative aspect of fire signs. But if we are getting into more of the lower aspects of Leo, Leo is very expressive, and in any situation it can be very expressive. And I want to also say that Leo is the partner sign to Aquarius, so they are in opposition to each other, but the opposition does not make them exactly different from each other. It's like two sides of the same coin. So some Leos that I've seen and observed, they aren't exactly always the loudest or the most flamboyant, and that's not a precursor of being a Leo or fire sign. There's a lot of other aspects that come into play, but the one thing that I do notice about Leos is they are very grounded in their body whenever I see them, and they seem very comfortable. And with that comfort, I feel is the ability to know when to exert and externalize that energy and attract people, and when to kind of relax and allow that energy to speak for itself. So a healthy Leo would be able to balance that expression very well. But if it is imbalanced, it can sometimes be, if the energy is insecure, it can be expressed as somebody who is accepting of any and all attention and is not really discerning if the tension is positive or negative. It just wants to be fed and quenched of their satiation for attention that they may be lacking, whether it's from not getting it from others, or not giving it to itself, vice versa. Maybe projecting that the only attention that matters is outside attention, and that's the only way to receive reassurance or what is it? Not reassurance and acceptance. Maybe that's what the word I'm looking for. I don't think that's the exact word, but it's like you get a stamp of approval when you get an applause. You get a stamp of approval if you get this many likes on a post. So sometimes if it's imbalanced, that attention, that need for attention can turn this archetype that can be very deep, very passionate, into someone who can be a little bit of an attention hog, overbearing, very needy, and domineering. There's another word I wanted to use, but I can't. Extra would be another phrase that I would use. Like, that's where the drama can come out, the excessive drama, so that's like sort of a mechanism of attraction whenever the Leo or the Leo archetype isn't aware that they are attractive just by being, and realizing that they don't have to, this energy doesn't have to cause a scene or a lot of commotion, or kind of I'm thinking of a peacock that is very pressed about being seen. So like overly peacocking, I guess maybe that's why I'm thinking of the peacock. But The king or queen is an archetype that is commonly associated with Leo because it's also associated with, as far as the animal kingdom, the lion, which is very regal and very attractive and powerful in its own energy, by just being. People have respect for the lion in the animal kingdom because it exudes that power of authority so naturally. So that's another aspect of the Leo archetype, is an innate confidence and an ability to, again, be self-aware. So that's where the perfectionism can come in, and the overthinking and the need for validation, because the archetype of Leo is aware of itself. It's also aware of its downfalls. So that could be another way that this energy can trip up and become a little bit more anxious and too self-involved and caught up in sort of the entanglements of how they look, how they're being perceived, and then kind of becomes unauthentic and more of a version of what they feel looks good. Again, back to like the superficiality aspect of an imbalance of this energy, versus being grounded and an acceptance of what you are aware of. So being an acceptance of, yeah, I'm great, and also being an acceptance of, yeah, there's things I need to work on. So taking responsibility is another part of Leo's strength, and being vulnerable and loyal is another couple of words that come up with the archetype of Leo. The loyalty comes through in the modality, of course, being fixed. So whenever that energy force, that fire energy, is focused on a certain point, it sees it through to the end. So again, like, that fire is consistent and loyal, and you can trust that that fire is going to be there because of the quality of that fire. So was there anything else? I said childlike, very determined. That can go with just loyalty and kind of like a ride or die energy. And again, the self-awareness can lean towards self-awareness where it's like you first and that's all you see, and like it's like a self-preservation sort of energy because of that like intense self-awareness. And inspiration is another aspect that I'm thinking of when it comes to Leo, because there is an attraction and a radiance with this energy. It's ruled by the sun, and the sun is the center of the universe. All the planets rotate around the sun. The sun gives everything life. So the sun can have this feeling of bringing life, reviving things, feeding things, and inspiring things to grow and to come to life. So that's another aspect that I feel is important for everybody to kind of understand, how they can awaken that part of themselves. Because imagine if everybody was kind of radiating and shining authentically, and people are just being inspired left and right and being awakened. There's an illumination when it comes to the sun, to the archetype of Leo, and to the way the energy presents itself in a healthy frequency. So yeah, I think that's everything. It's a powerful energy. It's very fun. It's very determined. It's vocal. It's fierce. It can be it can be pushy. It can force its will. And it's a warrior because it's consistent. It's not just going to give up. Oh, that's what I was going to say earlier. The king and queen aspect. When you see someone of royalty, you don't really see them, the moves that they're making. They're not. I'm imagining just the image of someone of royalty on the throne, and them just being important because of who they are, because of their status, because of the way they carry themselves, because of the importance that they radiate and that people can sense from them, the respect that they naturally attract towards them. So that is Leo energy. And it is an energy that is always available for anyone to access, which is me just emphasizing the point that this reading can be watched at any point. The messages are timeless. So, excuse me. We have 3 groups today. And just writing down the time. And all the timestamps are going to be down in the description box below, as usual, as well as a link to an astrological birth chart calculator. If you are fascinated by any of this information and you're curious about your birth chart, the time of birth gives you a more specific delineation. Is that the word I want to use? Or analysis or whatever. So choose as many groups as you'd like. Like I said, all the timestamps are going to be down below. And yeah, let's get started. So group 1 is Python and Ascension. Ascension number 17, Python number 17. Okay. We have number 28, Fire, and Game in reverse. I feel like the camera's coming through today. Everything looks really good. And then the 3rd group is Dream, Golden Orb, Spider. I also have some keywords that I picked out for each group. So yeah, I can't wait to see you at your group. Hey, group 1. If you chose Ascension and Python, this is your reading. How to embody your innate royalty. So some of the key words for group 1 are stuck in comfort zone, attached to old skin, identity, self, move, more fear than freedom, stunting your growth, Python shedding its skin in the shadows, patience, balance of masculine and feminine energies, when to act and when to attract. So the balance of motion versus patience and magnetism. Perfectionism, expectations / hesitation, analysis paralysis. And then there's going to be a quote from, it's basically an affirmation from the animal oracle deck that I'm using. They're really, really nice. So I'll just leave that under your timestamp if you want to check it out. But the interesting thing with a Python in reverse is I feel that this group feels more earthy. I was getting Taurus energy, or an energy that is really connected to their security. Like, I feel like there's this subtle, like, subconscious need to change and to shift, but for whatever reason, like, there's some kind of, like, I don't want to call it a block, but that's the only word that's coming to mind. But it's like something is keeping you from really moving in the direction of upgrading and evolving, but you're aware, I feel subtly, that that's something that you need to do. So the Python shedding its skin in the shadows. So what I was reading about the Python was that it sheds quite frequently. Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful bird. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm always facing my window when I'm doing these readings, and it's a red-winged blackbird. Oh, I wish I had a jacket that looked like that. It's just, oh, I love nature. Anyway, I'm sorry. So the python sheds its skin in the darkness, kind of like a hibernating period for mammals, I suppose. So there's a need before we make a change, and I can't make a promise that it's every time, but from my experience, every time a change or an involvement is being asked of you, there's something that needs to die and be let go of, and there's a shift that has to happen, and it most of the time starts in the mind, and then it trickles and creates a ripple effect into the way that you show up and the way that you act. But these things have to be instilled consistently through practice and discipline. So if there is a need to change something, similar to my beginning talk, oh my gosh, I don't know why it really bugs me when my voice cracks. So I was explaining in the introduction and the explanation of Leo, the archetype of Leo, that it is a fixed energy, so it's consistent. So it's building the habit of being brave. As a fire sign, fire signs take a lot of action and a lot of leaps. And the archetype of Leo asks you to create the habit of always moving that energy towards your focus, towards your vision. And that is going to involve doing a lot of taking risks, doing a lot of things that are going to make you uncomfortable. So this can't happen when we're attached to our old skin. The snake is always shedding. The python is consistently shedding. And it's shedding in this space of darkness where it is having, and I'm speaking metaphorically now, where the snake has time to integrate and process and say goodbye to its old self, where it is processing their emotions, where it's understanding that this change has to happen and what needs to be let go of so this change can materialize. I really hope hold on, let me close the window because I don't know how loud this is. Okay, awesome. It's still they're still kind of loud, but anyways, it's gonna be a good reading. It's fine. So yeah, similar to kind of what I had to do right then and there, there's like adjustments. Like if there's a tweak that needs to be made, even if it's a small way of embodying some sort of level of evolvement and step forward and motion forward towards where you want to be and where you're sensing you're being drawn to, that is progress. So there's some bravery here. Okay, we have Mars, which is the planet representative of action, of taking action. We have I am on the right path and divinely guided. And this came out sideways, so, but I felt it was in reverse. And then my dreams reveal that magic is real and anything is possible. So, I'm feeling some doubt here with this group. Just a little bit of doubt. And when we become accustomed to our comfort zones, it's something that is habitual. So whenever we need to make a change, there is some level of working against something. There's going to be resistance. There's going to be kickback from the part of your brain that is used to this habit, because that's what it is. It's a habit. And so I feel that this this call that you're getting is, I don't know if some of you have been having actual dreams, or even if it's just daydreams, but it's like you're being given a vision. And with the I am on the right path and divinely guided, for some of you it's like there's this need to have everything squared away when Leo energy asks us to take risks. Did something flip? Yeah, okay. Ace of Pentacles. Again, there's like this sense of being given an idea or an opportunity. And you might not have all the steps. I feel like you have enough steps to take action, but there's like, for whatever reason, there's a hesitation. Okay, I didn't know anything else flipped. Okay, Sun in reverse. So there's a need here to be decisive. There's a need here to acknowledge the opportunities that are presented in front of you, that have been and that can be presented in front of you, and that you ultimately are the person who is in charge of the direction that this can go. So there's a lot of symbolism of alchemy in this card, and alchemy is really turning lead into gold. So and that's what an opportunity ultimately is. So if you're being gifted something in its raw form, which ideas usually are, it starts as the seed that is implanted, and we aren't really sure how it's going to come about, how it's going to grow, but again, there is still some sovereignty and power that we have as far as guiding these ideas and these opportunities by expressing ourselves, saying yes or no to the opportunity, by expressing our expectations for the creation of something, for what our terms are and aren't, what our boundaries are and aren't. So being the advocator for ourselves, and sometimes that involves, I don't know why this example is coming to my mind, but being our biggest cheerleader isn't just believing in our dreams, it's also taking action towards the dreams, which could be as small as doing research, being the person who pulls all the strings at the beginning. That is that creative energy that's being healthily turned. So I'm really getting the example of something that I experienced recently, and it's like whenever you're starting something, especially if it's like a business or something where you're wanting to be a sovereign or run things, there's a lot of moving parts. And in the beginning, I'm going to keep using the creating your own business example, because that's the one that comes to my mind right now. Well, in the beginning, there's an importance of harnessing that creative energy and channeling it into everything that you're going to do, because there's a lot of different hats that you're going to wear in the beginning, because there may be money that you need to save versus outsourcing, and maybe outsourcing isn't in your budget, or delegating things isn't in your budget. So there's this drive that is used to create all the things that you need to create so that you can build this empire, this dream, this desire, this business. And it takes a lot of decisiveness, it takes a lot of action, it takes consistent action, and it takes bravery, because you are, again, advocating for yourself. You're wearing the crown, you're the employee, you're the negotiator. So to be a leader is to also be able to understand how to do all of those other things that got you to where you are to be the leader, because you don't just become a leader, you learn all these different skills, and then the reason you are in the position to lead is because of the experience that you have with starting from the beginning or the bottom and then becoming the leader. So there's a need to embrace your creative ability. There's a need to be aware of where you're being blessed with opportunities to invest in yourself, to invest in your ideas, and to allow yourself to be seen ultimately, and not get stuck in analysis paralysis. It's going to feel more like a flow than a struggle. It shouldn't, because you're taking leaps, there's going to be some fear, but to get used to that fear and not let it stop you in your tracks. Like, still continue to move forward as you're learning and making mistakes. Like, being brave to move through the ebbs and flows of trial and error. So, and that's where you grow. Like, you can't be afraid. Being brave in the archetype of Leo and the archetype of fire and fire season and the element of fire is acting and doing and kind of being that person, which is another thing I mentioned with the archetype of Leo. Leo isn't afraid to be seen. And being seen means sometimes being the person who made the mistake and is the example for other people of what not to do. But Leo energy is brave enough to take that step, to understand what lessons, and to be willing to accept whatever lessons come with them taking that step in the first place, whether it turned out to be a win or a loss. Leo absorbs that information through experience and through action, and this is important with this group, is learning from experience and not getting stuck in the mind. So taking more action. Okay. I had some... Oh, okay. Okay, I'm uploading a video, so I'm trying to make sure my computer stays on while I'm doing this. Okay. All right. I'm hearing all hands on deck, you matter too. So seeing the importance of your ideas and your existence and your dreams and what you're being gifted, because it matters, it will help somebody, it needs to be seen. You being as self-aware as possible so that you can always align yourself with the right people, places, and things so that you can be the best self that you can be is important to always move forward in that way. Gifts, advice for people, advice for people, advice for people. Okay, we have, I don't know how to pronounce this, Dharma unfolding. Remember that you are on a path. take one step at a time to happiness. And then we have, of course, this one, which I flipped it upside down, but either way, it's talking about a path, or on path, being aware that wherever you end up and wherever you intuitively decide, like, to show up, is where you're supposed to be. And to know that you can trust yourself in deciding if something is for you or if it's not. And then we have charity, connect with heaven, ask and you shall receive, prayer and contemplation. Yeah, it's really beautiful. There's a lot of like balancing of masculine and feminine energy with this group, of trusting and practicing being in more of a flow state. So following your inspired action. I feel like inspired action is a big thing with this group. I don't know if you've been getting these pulls to do something, to learn something new. The other thing with this charity card as well, connect with heaven, ask and you shall receive, prayer and contemplation. I feel that there is a need for this group to have some time to kind of like go within. We have a few cards that kind of suggest that, like this angel has his eyes closed, which gives me the sort of sense of an action of kind of going within. Closing your eyes to the external world. There's another person with a blindfold on. So another aspect of not seeing something, so being more aware of what's going on internally and in your field around you, and being more aware of your senses. And then my dreams. When I hear dreams, that's another thing that can be cooking up inside of you. So kind of playing in that inner realm, in that inner world, playing with your dreams, daydreaming, allowing yourself to really understand your desires, what you want to do, to give you a little bit more clarity on the actions to take. And if it's not always clear, that's not abnormal. To not judge that and get stuck in the idea of like, oh, well, I know I need to do something, but I don't know what. And then that kind of just stops you in your tracks even longer. So, fresh approach. Trust your understanding in reverse. Be true to your heart. Wow. That's really awesome. Bountiful harvest in reverse. So there's, again, like, you're holding yourself back from I feel it's just in general more fulfillment, especially emotional fulfillment. And it's okay to be in the space where you're kind of at a pause, or you're in a lull, or you're trying to understand what you desire. There's a reason for every transition and step, but to practice, find a way to practice trusting in yourself and tapping into that innate confidence by allowing yourself to say yes to certain things that you're drawn to pick up the paintbrush, to sign up for that course or whatever you're thinking about, because some of these things and taking this action, moving forward, even if it doesn't make sense, it will eventually, in retrospect, it always ends up making more sense. So taking that step forward, I'm hearing like take that yoga class, or like if it's like a fitness class, or it could be something as far as like as small as changing your routine or adding something to your routine, or I'm gonna eat more turkey instead of beef. Like, it could be very small, and like these intuitive, instinctual steps and actions, because fire has a lot to do with primal energy and instinct, and the primal energy grounds us back into our body. So a lot of the intuition that we feel is like innate. It's like inside of our bodies, and we can feel it, and it kind of is felt throughout our body, like, whoa, this is a visceral sign, like, this is for me, or whoa, like, my mouth is watering, this is what I need, this is what I'm craving, my stomach is telling me, my body is telling me this. So by taking those actions and moving towards your instincts and intuition, and allowing them to have a voice within you, it will bring about a new perspective, a new idea, and it will bring you more clarity instead of staying stagnant. It's like if the energy stays stagnant, then the mind stays stagnant, and everything around you feels stagnant. So being aware of how the energy is moving, if you're moving, and if it's affecting you at all, and what's going on with your mind. And if things are feeling anxious, if you're feeling claustrophobic, go and visit a coffee shop that you've never been to. Go take a trip, go outside, because all of these actions, all of these ways in which you can move the energy is going to bring about more clarity for you, and you'll feel more energized and more empowered, and you'll be able to see more. Your vision will expand as you just choose and move forward. Make a decision and move forward, and invite the fear. Because whenever you take those brave steps, you move closer to this cornucopia, this possibility, to more options. You can see more options when you go to more places, when your mind is exposed to different things. So that's what I feel like you're wanting, is to shed, and to have the freedom to shed, and to flow in and out of more evolved versions of who you are. And you're getting that call to experiment more, to explore more, because that's how you're gonna figure out what is resonating with you, what has lessons for you, and things like that. So group 1, group 1, affirmation for group 1. Awesome. All right, so these are your last messages. Group 1, I am in perfect balance. What you seek is seeking you. And I believe in myself and my abilities. Okay, group 1, thank you for stopping by. I hope you come back to visit and show some love by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I hope to see you again soon. Hey, group 2, welcome to your reading. You guys had game and fire. And the keywords that I got for y'all, one thing that I remember reading in the description of this card was that fire moves upward. So when I thought of that, I thought of the force of fire climbing to the top of a mountain, like the force of fire, that energy climbs you, helps you, assists you in climbing a mountain, or even figuratively climbing a mountain to success, action, achievement, force, seriousness, tension, pressure. And I'm also going to include 2 quotes for this group. It's going to be underneath your timestamp, and one of them's an affirmation, one of them's just a quote that really stuck out to me while I was reading about fire. So it says creation, destruction, beginning, and expression. Let's see. My emotions move through cycles and connect me to my truth. And Neptune in reverse. There's something about this group where I feel like when you talk, people really listen. And there's also an intensity with this group, like, by all means, it's kind of the vibe that I get from this group. There's not a lot of softness. There's a refusal to really let your emotions slow you down and to let your emotions hold you back. And I almost feel like instead of getting lost in your emotions, there's this ability to just push forward and to consistently push forward, and this drive almost blinds you and has you kind of skip over it's like your drive pushes you through and past like any mourning that you may have needed to do. It's almost like somebody who, instead of like mourning the loss of a relationship or a breakup, they just work more. Or like processing your emotions through action. And I hesitate to say if it's always fully being processed. It's like somebody who is just very determined and diligent and fierce and kind of ruthless when it comes to their desires. So again, it's like by all means necessary kind of energy. You will fight and use force for your desires. There's a lot of masculine energy in this pile, and again there's like this, I'm determined to not let anything slow me down, which it's not a bad thing, but it's like in that slowing down process there's an ability to reassess if we still have these same desires, if our desires are still aligned with us, and also what we're feeling, where our emotions are. So there's almost a need to kind of balance, which I mentioned in the first group, but it was a lot different. There's a need to balance things out. So there's a need to kind of soften, and being comfortable with ebbs and flows, and being okay with slowing down and it not hindering your growth in any way, or setting you back in any way, or burning you out in any way. In fact, it'll keep you from burning out. I almost get a vibe like, for some people there was like a relationship that gave you this fire, this undeniable fire. It's like, I'm not even going to worry about this anymore. I'm going to just focus on my desires and my achievements and growing my wealth and growing myself. I don't have time to mourn the loss of this person. I don't have time to worry about this. Or even like, I'm also getting a storyline of you had to let something go and grow yourself. It's almost like with this game card, it's like you stopped playing games as far as like getting lost in other people, or getting into relationships, or like lollygagging around your dreams, and like rooting something down and taking things seriously. And now you're beginning to take action. You're fighting for what you want. You're not allowing, which is such an interesting storyline. You think like it would be negative to, there's so many twists and turns, so I hope you're still with me. You think it'd be negative to, or it would seem as though like someone's suppressing their emotions. And sometimes it can be that way, but I think there's times where it can be just as healing to pick everything up, realize the reality of things. Like, yes, I'm sad that I can't have this relationship right now. I'm sad that I can't have my dream just yet, but I'm not going to get caught up in those emotions, slow down, and not continue to move forward to what I desire. Move beyond current challenges. Focus on what you desire. Holy Amethyst Alchemy. We have divine intervention. Divine director, intervention and purpose. Divine intervention is occurring. Know that you are being guided. Happiness is your purpose. Okay, so I'm getting two things. There's like half of the group that is being called to kind of dry up what has caused them to be stagnant as far as their emotions, and there's a need to balance I'm almost getting like somebody who is being called to higher, to elevate, to move forward. And some people are and didn't really take the time to mourn what they let go of. And there's others who sometimes get stuck in this sort of perpetual like sadness of all that they have had to lose to get to where they are, and it's slowing them down from really seeing and stepping into like their true desire, or stepping towards their dreams. It's like, yes, there's things to process, yes, there's things to let go of, yes, there's things that can't come with you, but to accept that with bravery. Focus intention, think about what you desire. There's constant like, think about your desire. It's, when I'm looking at this spread, it's like this person is so determined. It's like they're looking past the sadness. They're looking past all of the things that might slow them down. They're looking past like all the things that hurt them, their trials and tribulations, all the things of the past. They're looking past all those things and looking straight to this Lover's card, which is like beauty and fulfillment and authenticity and alignment and high frequency options that are of benefit and that are uplifting and aren't toxic. So there's a need to continue on. And I feel like I'm talking to the people who kind of get stuck. It's like the Leo energy, the way to embody this energy is to keep moving forward, to understand that sometimes things need to be released, for you to sort of align with your desired reality, which is what this Lover's card kind of looks like. It's like a sneak peek of, you look at the Lovers and you see like a divine match, you see an angel, you see light, protection. It's very vibrant. There's a beautiful balance of the masculine and feminine energy, and the feminine is very connected to the vision, and the masculine is looking at the feminine who's connected to the vision. And we are both. So your movement is being guided by the vision that you are setting your eyes on, that you are being guided to, this divine vision. So understanding that, yes, there may be things that may be sad, but we can't allow them to slow us down or keep us stagnant. They do and should be processed, but to continue to move forward past all of those things and to ultimately let them go, and to not become a martyr to them, to not be stuck in them, to express them in whatever way that you can, and to continue dreaming, which is the bravery and the vulnerability of the Leo energy. It's not that you can't express yourself and you have to be numb to feelings and to the things that are being released. It's allowing all of those emotions to kind of come out and move forward as those emotions are coming up. It's okay to you can do both. If you have the energy to do both, you can do both. And don't let go of what's possible because you're having to say goodbye to certain things. But I feel like it's a process of success. You're always shedding to be this person who is able to align with success and prosperity and abundance and get to their dream, because the person who has what you're desiring may not be the person that you have been or are currently. So there's a lot of letting go, and it may not be the people that you're around, may not be the people who are around you when you get to this desired abundance, prosperity, reality, whatever it is. So facing fear, Kali Ma, Major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. Yes, so the bones around Kali Ma are really the egos and the old identities that have been killed off. And she's really asking others to shed those false selves and to step up bravely to who they truly are. And to be brave enough to strike them down whenever they are of detriment to our growth. And to be ferocious, to be powerful. She's very fiery, and there's a lot of red around her. There's a groundedness in your action, a groundedness in that vision as well, with the feminine combining with that earthy, fiery, ferocious masculine energy, that power of knowing what is going to come with you and what is not, knowing where you will set your boundaries and who is not going to be a part of this journey, and continuing to fight for those things, to express your fire. And then we have Diana, focus intention. Think about what you desire, set your sights high, expect the best possible outcome. Yes. You can't let go of the vision despite, the way the journey unfolds. Okay. Yeah, there's so many twists and turns with this group, so I don't know. Talk to me. What do you think? What are you thinking? How are you feeling? Breakthrough in reverse. I don't know, I'm getting like some sort of an energy of like worrying about how people respond to your success or your change, or like people aren't really responding to it as you would have thought, or this like it's lonely at the top sort of vibe. I don't know. Which I feel like is a mindset of martyring yourself. Assurance, okay. Yeah, it's like this group kind of is in need of other people to be around to make sure that they're like taking the right steps, but that's disempowering, and it's also inhibiting your breakthrough. Fresh approach again. So perspective matters. What's sticking out with the fire card here is beginning, destruction and beginning are simultaneously happening at the same time. So as we release what we've lost, which has been destroyed, we are walking through the doorway of a new beginning. And to not suppress those emotions, to not hide them, and to not drag those emotions along indefinitely while you are in... I'm sorry, I want to start over. Every time my voice cracks, Okay. I just have to laugh at myself. Oh my gosh. Fuck, I was saying something really good. We don't want to drag along what has happened, those same emotions once they have been expressed indefinitely while we're on this other path, because then that just leaves us in the same existence as we were before. So how are we going to attract and stay focused? How are we going to remain focused on this intention if we are still mourning what we let go of a month ago, 2 months ago, a year ago? Because that's still staying in that same expression and embodiment of the person who is upset, and maybe upset because, I don't know, as an example, like you're mourning a breakup, like I was saying, and you're still worrying and pining and hoping, and while you're also trying to start something new in your life or find like a new partner, for example, or let's just stick with that example. If you're still like in that existence, it's like you're in two existences at once. You haven't fully let go if you're still mourning. So how are you going to allow that new partner, that more aligned with you partner, to come in if you are still like wavering between like existences and expressions? So there's a need to change perspective. There's a need to release something so you can allow yourself to have this breakthrough, this upgrade, this transformation. Allow yourself to take your power back through moving through this with grace, with vigor, with ruthlessness. And I use ruthlessness in a positive way. I kind of want to, let me look up that word. And I feel like the assurance is coming because there's so much wavering. There's this like, I'm still kind of stuck in the past, even though I know that my future will more than likely be more bright if I move on. And this thing could come back. This thing can when you let something die, it can come back brand new. So holding on to this person, this thing, like stepping away from it could be the one thing that can change it into what you have been desiring for it to be. Or it'll attract something new to come in, you know? Pitiless, merciless, having no compassion or pity. Compassion is important, but pity is a word that comes to my mind. Getting out of self-pity, so being ruthless with yourself, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, of course, but also to be brave by advocating for yourself. Being the queen or king and authority of yourself by picking yourself up. You are the assurance that you need. You are the person who's in control of your breakthrough. You are the reason that you are still in this state that may be keeping you from the state that you want to be in. So it's taking responsibility. It's being hard on yourself when you need to, and finding that drive and persistence and continuing forward. Because stagnancy isn't the move. Stagnancy isn't a move at all. I am worthy of the very best in life, and I now lovingly allow myself to accept it. That's amazing. Yeah, that's the other thing with that affirmation card. That's another thing with the energy of embodying your innate royalty, is knowing that even if something is lost, knowing that there's an abundance and an infinite amount of better things out there. That is brave. It's brave to believe that and to assure yourself of that. It's very important because you are evolving and being better. There has to be better out there because you're able to look past what you've seen. And because you are constantly allowing yourself to grow, to move forward, you will be exposed to new things, to better things, to things that will show you more of what you desire, and to speak up when and make boundaries when you recognize that you aren't getting the best of the best or what you desire. My future is an ideal projection of what I envision now. I am becoming a better version of myself every day. And I trust my inner voice. Okay, it's time to get back into the game. The game isn't over if you're still breathing, group 2. And to continue facing those fears. It's invigorating, it's triggering, it can be overwhelming, but that's how you expand, evolve. That's how you become shinier. That's how the diamond is formed under pressure. So be brave, group 2. That is your reading. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Like, share, and subscribe for more readings like this one, and I can't wait to see you again. Hey, group 3. Welcome to your reading. So you got the golden orb spider and dream. There are a lot of alignments with these two cards, which I thought that's always fun. It's always interesting. So your keywords were: she is the dream catcher and the living link to both the past and the future, which is the way that the Native Americans look at the spider. Also connecting the energy of spirit world to the physical plane, manifestation, romanticizing life, vision boards, playful, childlike, autonomous creator, generational impact / legacy, dare to dream. What do I really want to create? And then there is an affirmation that goes with the animal oracle card that I will leave beneath your timestamp if you want to read that. Let's see. We are all sisters and reflect the divine in one another in reverse. It is safe and beautiful to express my sensuality in reverse. Saturn, Gemini. Interesting. So, I did mention the astrological birth chart calculator link underneath the timestamps. So if you're interested, you can look in that. But I'm going to name a placement: Saturn in the 5th house. Saturn in the 5th house and a block in the throat chakra. I'm seeing blue. I'm seeing green, which is the heart. I'm seeing yellow, which is the solar and the sacral. So there's a hesitation to express yourself. to be seen, to even use your voice. And there may be a consistent pattern of maybe relying on other people, of people pleasing. This feels like my more like sensitive group, the more like timid, seemingly timid, like wanting to hold back. So there's like a holding back of your expression in a lot of ways. Like maybe you don't speak up in groups, you kind of allow people to speak over you. I'm getting a strong maybe Mercury in the 12th, like Mars in the 12th, Mars in Pisces. Like there's this sort of gentleness to your voice, but it's also like you're holding back whenever you speak, like you're scared to speak. So there's this need to allow yourself to be seen, allow yourself to express yourself, and find your turn-ons and turn-offs. So there's like this block in us in the sexual energy, which is ultimately creative energy. So there may be like a suppression of it, like maybe you're a little bit uncomfortable with that part of your body, or there's like maybe this like disconnection to that part of your body. I'm also getting like painful periods, or difficulty with, again, like identifying or connecting with that part of the body, or understanding how you're creative, or not thinking you're creative at all. So there was like an emphasis on weaving, on being the creator of your life. And the spider lives its life and experiences its life within the web. And it's the only one, usually it's one spider. I don't know, I don't study spiders a lot, but usually it's one spider who creates that whole web by itself. So it's sovereign, it's autonomous, it is, every web is different, so it's expressing itself uniquely based on what works and what doesn't work. There's like a need to experiment more with this group as well, be more playful and experiment. A dare to dream is the phrase that's coming up really strongly to me here. It's like taking back your power. There's a lot of like embodying empowerment with this Leo energy for all of the groups. So seeing your worth. Wow, that's so beautiful. I feel like this group has a lot to birth and has a lot of potential, but there's like some I think there is something about the childhood. Either you grew up very quickly, or you didn't really get a chance to express yourself or really do the things that you enjoyed or experiment much as a child. Maybe there was like this strict childhood or upbringing. I don't know why Catholic school is coming up for this group. Like a very overbearing parent, like someone that was just an authority figure that was stifling to you, disempowering. Yeah, that's interesting. There's some cards here from the last group, but they're a little bit opposite. There's an invitation to really charge forward with your expression, with your words. I feel like this group has some powerful thoughts that they're hiding, to let go of any losses or failures that you have had, or rejections that you have had, and to sit on your throne and be aware of the worth that you carry. So I feel like, for one, there's a need to release that aspect of yourself that was stifled, and to embody a new expression. It's almost like playing dress up. And this is a manifestation technique, obviously. That kind of bleeds back into the keywords. That's so interesting. It's like playing dress up. Like, yes, maybe you were for a while this person who didn't speak their mind, this person who kind of cowered, this person who maybe in the bedroom you let the person kind of take over and take charge. Maybe you were the type of person who was like, well, what are you into? Like, I'm into whatever you're into type of energy, like very accommodating and people pleasing, very like not wanting to ruffle any feathers, not wanting to step up when it comes to confrontation, not wanting to meet confrontation head on. There's a need to say goodbye to that part of you, to embody this royalty. Royalty, this Empress card that has come up, which is so beautiful, is someone who has shed a lot of herself, has met herself in the most vulnerable ways, and is aware of her creative force and ability. She is harmonious and loves beautiful things, but is able to see the beauty and a healthy debate and speaking up and expressing herself. And sometimes there needs to be a little bit of disharmony or clashing to come back into balance. I'm hearing the word she's juicy. She is juicy. So there's like this sexual reference of finding these things that turn you on. Again, Kali Ma with the facing fear. Yeah, I'm also getting directed to like Tantra. Yeah, it's like finding the things that arouse you and stimulate you. Gemini is definitely an archetype. It's an air sign, but it's an archetype that likes to be stimulated mentally, that likes to be engaged. It has to do with the hands, so maybe there's something that can be healed and opened up and opened up through your hands, through touch, through sensual activities. Maybe you need to draw more, write more, touch yourself, to experience pleasure in new ways, experimentation is a big thing with Gemini, allowing yourself to explore unorthodox things, to be a psychonaut and to play with different perceptions and mindsets and role playing and like stepping into different versions of yourself, which is another thing with Gemini. Gemini isn't necessarily like attached to any identity or way of being or dogma. There's like this ability to be fluid and playful, and that's how you're able to find the things that you can be loyal to, like the energy of fixed fire, like the energy of Leo. You can, through the act of playing, of allowing yourself to be playful, be childlike. I forgot that was one of your key words, to romanticize your life, to really delve into, again, like the things that turn you on with this death card here. I'm thinking of the French word for orgasm, which means little death, and the energy of Scorpio, and opening yourself up to the metaphorical and maybe literal aspects of arousal, of being aroused by life and by existence, like being a walking orgasm. This is taken a really interesting turn. I don't know why, but I don't mean just sexually, of course. I mean like stimulating, like what is stimulating you, what is... This is so interesting, these similar cards coming out. The other thing with the Venusian aspect of the Empress is the Empress is very sensual. I feel like the energy of Venus, of the Empress, knows what feels good on their body, what smells good, and works with the chemicals that they have, that exudes a certain scent whenever they're picking a certain perfume or essential oil to put on their body. They know what smells they like in their house. By experimenting, they know what style suits them and accentuates their form, their beautiful form, by experimenting. They know what they like, what again, like, turns them on. I don't know why, like, that is like the theme of this reading, is like what stimulates you, what turns you on, and to fearlessly and vulnerably dive into that and also express that as well. I forget to mention that, like, express what turns you on. So we have Saint Germain, karma releasing, and Green Tara, supreme protection. You are protected, cords are being cut, move beyond limitation and trust. Move beyond drama, create your own path, make room for good energy. Interesting. Make room for good energy, create your own path. Cords are being cut, move beyond limitations. So with karma and supreme protection, there is like a need to individuate, which is a strong like theme with Leo, which I'm learning so much more about the energies, the zodiacal energies, the astrological energies through this reading, and it's so helpful to me because I love to learn. Anyways, I digress. There's something like a theme with sort of like almost like raising your hand instead of speaking kind of energy, like tiptoeing, pussyfooting, allowing people to skip you in a line without your permission, and not saying, giving them a piece of your mind. These are just some of the images and metaphors that I'm getting. There's this connection that I'm seeing with having these relationships in your life where people have told you what to like, told you what to do, and there's been like a solace and safety in being sheltered in another person's energy. But there is a need with the cords being cut here, and move beyond limitation, and the move beyond drama, choose your own path. There is a need to distance yourself from all of those energies that you've found solace in, that have, at the same time of finding solace within them, have also put you in a space of disempowerment and have been enabling you to continue to show up in this disempowering way of codependency and enmeshment and getting lost in other people and their ideas of you, versus deciding to create and cultivate those ideas on your own through, again, experimentation. And I'm almost getting someone, like, I'm getting these different polarities of the Virgin and the Jezebel, the Mary Magdalene and the Mother Mary sort of imagery of, there's like this side to you that has been suppressed or repressed, And it's a valid part of the way that you express yourself, so it needs to be seen. And expression is a big thing that this archetype is calling forth from you. And maybe for a lot of you it's physically expressing yourself. There's like something really strong about sexuality, and again, like I keep mentioning, like turn-ons and allowing yourself to be aroused by life and making decisions that arouse you and give you this like feeling of juiciness. Seek beauty. Oh. Catch your breath, maintain your childlike spirit and laughter. Yes. And then assurance in reverse. It's like so interesting, like the patterns. Seek beauty, catch your breath, maintain your childlike spirit and laughter. Yeah, there's like, I feel that there's like a season or transition of coming out of a dark space of maybe seeing with the seek beauty. It's almost like you're seeing the falsehoods, which can be ugly, around you. Like your perspective right now isn't maybe the prettiest. It is you becoming aware of certain pitfalls or downfalls of where you have allowed yourself to be and exist. So I'm also getting somebody who surrounds themselves with maybe not the best people, maybe not the best environments. You just kind of go along to get along, which have placed you in places that are more aligned with other people and not who you actually are. And whenever you do seek beauty in your life, I trust my inner voice in reverse. Golly, that's just... let me turn on the light. Hold on. The sun is starting to set here. Oh, it looks beautiful. Everything's quieted down. Yeah, there's a need to, with these energies of laughter, maintain your childlike spirit, seek beauty, catch your breath. The catch your breath feels like periods of integration, periods of processing what you have learned, what aligns with you, what is authentic to you, really hearing the voice that guides you from within, hearing your authentic self. But when you do these things, when you align with seeking what you find is beautiful and not just going along with what other people are telling you looks good, because that is their perspective, following the things that you wanted to do as a child that you may still want to do, but you talk yourself out of it because maybe you think it's immature, or you think it's a waste of time, or you judge it in some sort of way. Like allowing yourself to loosen up, to experiment, to play, and then again, like take those moments to pause and integrate and say, okay, so I did this today. I went on a swing at a park I've never been to. I decided that I wanted to go to the state that I've never been to the city I've never been to, and travel. Let's integrate what choice I made when I decided to seek what I find is beautiful, what draws me, what magnetizes me, when I seek what lights me up, what inspires me. So how did that feel when I did that? Like taking a pause and seeing, witnessing, observing how that feels for you. So we have number 27, 15, 47, and 44. All right, group number 3. These are your last cards. The universe totally supports every thought I choose to think and to believe. The universe... That sounded so weird. The universe is filled with endless opportunities for me. I love and accept myself as I am, and everything in my life works. I trust my inner voice. Okay, and don't forget the affirmation that I'm going to include underneath the timestamp, group 3. Thank you. Let me make sure that yes, I did. Thank you, group 3, for coming over to my side of YouTube and stopping by. Definitely leave some energy of love, comment, like, share, and subscribe. It definitely helps. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you again.